This afternoon, I'm wishing to speak with you about the concerning rise we've had in auto thefts, and specifically auto thefts where vehicles are being taken either while they are still running with a key fob left in them, or people, as a matter of their personal habits, leaving their key fob in their car when it's parked somewhere. So just this week alone, we've had 8 auto thefts already in Zone 2. This begins shortly sometime Sunday night and extends through right now. 7 of those vehicles have been taken in the area of the city known as Buckhead, which Zone 2 incorporates most of. And all of those vehicles were taken either running or with keys inside of them. We've had 5 vehicles stolen in the midtown or downtown space, and 4 of those vehicles had the vehicles inside of them. So 100% of the vehicles in Buckhead and a large number of the vehicles both midtown and downtown, and we're seeing this pattern over and over. We believe roughly 70% of the vehicles in the city limits for the year have been stolen with the vehicles, with the key fobs inside of them at that time. So here's really what the message we need to get out. It's imperative that as a habit, people take their key fob with them when they leave their vehicle. The vehicles today are much more challenging to steal, provided that you do not leave the key fob with the vehicle. When you do that, you make it so simple for the car to be stolen that anybody can just simply lift the door handle, push the push to start button, and drive off. So the purpose behind the technology was to actually make it more challenging to steal your vehicle, and it does, provided that you remember to take the key fob with you, or you don't leave your vehicle running while you run inside the convenience store to grab an item really quickly. So it's very important to us as we try and deal with this problem that people get the message that we really need them to no longer leave the key fob with their vehicle. We're seeing this time and time again, and it runs the gamut from everything from very expensive Range Rovers. We had a Porsche Panamera already stolen this week that was running. So very high-end vehicles, but if you leave the key fob with them, it's just too easy to pick them off. So that's really the message that we're trying to get out. We're trying to deal with the problem as best we can through investigations and on the back end, but the easiest way to solve this problem would be to prevent it. And because the manufacturers of virtually every vehicle made now uses this technology, and it does make the vehicle far more challenging to steal, provided you remember to keep the key fob with you. So that's the message we're pushing today. I'm happy to take any questions.
Have any of these vehicles been recovered, and do you have any suspects?
So we have a number of suspects, and we took out warrants on 4 individuals for different auto thefts last week. We continue to recover vehicles. We process those vehicles for fingerprints or any identifying marks. We've had success recovering vehicles, and we will continue to have that success, and we continue to identify suspects. But really the message I want to push out as much as anything is people can prevent this if they will just leave, if they will take their keys with them.
Is there any pattern? Is this residential areas, commercial parking lots, or any pattern?
So there's been a little bit of everything, but I will say that generally when people leave their vehicles running, that's been largely either in their driveway to warm them up, and there are groups of people that are riding the city just looking for that very thing, or the other one is when they stop by mostly gas stations, they'll run inside really quick to grab something at a gas station, leave their vehicle running, and that gets picked off at that time.
For some of these suspects, have you seen them doing multiple crimes? Are any of these people the same people?
Yes, so we recently had, we've tied multiple auto thefts to several different people over the course of time. So we have several offenders that we've tied to multiple vehicle thefts. And remember that vehicles are stolen primarily for 3 principal reasons. One is transportation, so someone just is fortunate if you leave your car running, they take it to go from A to B. 2, they steal cars to commit other crimes. And then 3, they steal cars for profit. And so when we are able to identify those people, they've largely stolen a large number of vehicles. And we have several suspects or persons of interest that we are working that may be involved in stealing vehicles for profit and will have stolen multiple vehicles.
Did you say that Zone 2 is the primary location for this, or are other sections like South Fulton and stuff seeing this as well?
The largest rise we're seeing in auto theft has been from Buckhead south to downtown and basically down the Peachtree corridor. So if you worked your way all the way downtown or all the way up, it's been Zones 2 and Zone 5, and they've seen the greatest increase in auto theft over this year. That's not always the case, but this year's been a little different. And then 2 is, as the vehicles have become more expensive and more of the vehicles become key fobs, so that everybody's basically got a car now that uses a key fob, then what's happened is instead of stealing older cars in other parts of the city, they're going to parts of the city where people are more likely to have newer cars and then make the mistake of leaving a key fob or leaving it running.
What about car slider crimes? Are they part of this as well?
That happens. It's not as prevalent as it had been even in like 2019. Those crimes do still occur, and that's a different challenge. I did want to bring that up. So when you're filling your vehicle, you have the key fob in it, or in your pocket at least. So it is possible to access the car at that time. But if you don't leave it running, in the most current generation of vehicles, the key fob has a geolocation device so it knows whether it's in your car or not. And if the fob is not actually in the car won't turn on. Now, that wasn't always the way the technology worked, but here in the last few cycles of vehicles, they've made that adjustment. So the key fob generally has to be at least inside the car. You push the brake and the start button to get it to go. So that helps with the slider crime. It won't completely prevent somebody from getting in your vehicle, because if the key fob's close enough, obviously if you just push the button on the outside, the door will unlock.
And then in terms of the also revolving around the car slider and stuff, the person who was kidnapping women and was part of a car slide kidnap, who did multiple, have we got any updates on that person?
So I'm not in charge of that part of the investigation. That doesn't roll through me, so I don't have the answer to that. I do the auto theft straight, but that's a different elevated crime to kidnapping, and somebody else handles that.
Do we know what the homicide rates are for the year?
I know roughly the homicide rate, but we'd need to get you exact numbers.
Okay.
We'll give it to you.
That's it?
Is that it, guys?
Any more questions?
All right. Thank you very
Thank you
much.
for coming.